Sometimes, God doesn't explain the separation. He just does it. And if you're not spiritually awake, you'll think it's punishment when it's actually protection. The people who once called you daily suddenly go silent. The relationships you clung to start to crumble without reason. The doors you prayed would open slam shut in your face, not because you're cursed, but because you're being called higher. And elevation always requires separation. The first sign is disconnection that makes no sense. You didn't argue, you didn't sin, but the connection is just gone. This is divine pruning. Like Jesus said in John 15:2, every branch that bears fruit must be pruned to bear more. Yes, even fruitful relationships can be cut if they no longer fit your next assignment. The second sign is a deep, unshakable loneliness. Even when you're surrounded by people, you attend church, serve faithfully, smile at work, but inside, something is shifting. And no one around you understands, not even your closest friends. That's because God is pulling you into a season where your ears must hear Him more than anyone else. Remember, Moses had to climb alone before he could receive what would change a nation. The third sign is discomfort with places you used to enjoy. Suddenly, gossip doesn't amuse you. Distractions feel heavier. What once entertained you now disturbs your spirit, because when God sets you apart, He detoxes your appetite. Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And that means your old circles can't feed your new calling. The fourth sign is spiritual agitation. You feel stirred, restless, like your spirit is pacing, even when your body is still. That's not anxiety, that's divine agitation. Elijah felt it too, under the juniper tree. God isolated him, fed him, and then He whispered. Sometimes, God will make you uncomfortable just to reposition you for the whisper that changes everything. The fifth sign is divine delay, not denial. Everything feels paused, plans fall through, doors don't open, but what looks like stagnation is actually sacred incubation. David was anointed king and then sent back to tend sheep. You too might be in a holding pattern, not because God forgot you, but because separation is the setup. And here's the warning. If you try to reconnect what God is cutting off, you risk delaying your purpose and increasing your pain. Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt because she couldn't let go of where God no longer was. God is a God of divine separation before elevation. Even Jesus had to go into the wilderness, alone, before stepping into public ministry. So don't despise the stripping. It's proof that you're being trusted with more. If God is removing things, people, or patterns from your life, stop chasing what He's calling you out of. Start preparing for what He's leading you into. Your isolation might just be His preparation. Your silence could be where He speaks the loudest. And your rejection might be the redirection you've been praying for. So here's the challenge. Don't confuse separation with abandonment. Romans 8:28 still applies, even in the wilderness. And don't beg for doors to reopen when God already locked them for your protection. If you're feeling the pull away, lean into it, because hidden in the isolation is a blueprint for the next version of you. the version that's anointed, focused, and finally aligned with His purpose.